The second serve is one of the most challenging strokes in tennis. And I believe the reason for that, the main reason for that, is because our minds get in between. So in this video, I am going to help you understand why our minds make this stroke so challenging. And I'm going to give you a few tips that you're going to be able to use to work on your mind and make that second serve into a weapon, not a liability. So why is it that that second serve becomes so challenging? Why is it that our minds all of a sudden start running the show? So that is exactly what's happening. We are not acting from instinct. All of a sudden, we go to our heads and we start having a conversation with ourselves rather than staying in the moment. So why is it so difficult to conquer the mind when we're thinking about a second serve? And the main reason is because of the beliefs, because of all the things that are in our heads. And the first thing that I want you to think about is that when you're serving, you want to be able to put everything on the line. And in order to be able to put everything on the line, you have to adopt new beliefs. And one of those is be willing to miss. And be willing to miss because the serve goes out. Now, when it comes to being willing to miss, I know what you're thinking. When I'm playing doubles, my partner is going to be upset with me if I keep missing that stroke. But what you need to be telling yourself is that this is about you. Your partner is not paying for you to play tennis. Your partner is not paying for lessons. Your partner is not spending the time that you're spending watching videos, working on your game. So if it helps to have a conversation with that person in the beginning and tell that person, listen, I'm really working on my serve. I'm changing a few things and I might miss. If that makes you feel better, then do it. I do it sometimes. And then all of a sudden, that diffuses the pressure. But you really have to make a commitment to putting everything out there on the line. So the first suggestion that I have for you is number one, become friends with speed and friends with spin. You have to make a relationship between those two things and the fact that those two things are good. Speed and spin are going to give us trust. So we have to start liking the feeling of going fast and spinning that ball. Now, the kind of speed that I'm talking about is not the forward momentum that you would see on a ground stroke. The kind of speed that I'm talking about is the speed that we're going to put on that ball as we're applying the spin, and particularly the slice on the second serve. So in order to get a lot of strings on that ball, we have to do it fast and we have to stay on the ball. You really want to enjoy that moment and you really want to try to stay for as long as you can while you're doing that. So if you make friends with that feeling, then eventually your mind and your body are going to be looking for that feeling every time you hit a second serve. Now that leads me to the second tip. That speed needs to come at the very end. And that's why if you listen to a lot of my other videos, I'm always stressing the fact that your speed needs to come at the end. The beginning of every stroke needs to be slow, especially the serve. This is where a lot of people get in trouble. They start speeding up from here. So by the time they get to the ball, there's going to be a jerk motion on your shoulder. So from here to here, you are going to be accelerating. But right as you get to the back of that ball and you start going from the back to the right to the front, that's the moment when you have to go really, really fast. So you got to keep telling yourself, when you're getting ready to serve, I'm going to put everything on the line. I'm going to speed up my stroke and I'm going to speed it up at the very end. It's like dessert. It's going to come at the very end. So I'm going to build my whole stroke so that I can enjoy it and I'm going to make it last long at the very end. So once you're getting ready to serve, My next suggestion is you have to create a mental routine and you have to repeat that routine every time. So one of those things that you should include in your routine is time between your first and your second serve. You don't want to rush because you lose that first serve and then everybody's looking at you, your partner is waiting for you. This is about you and what you're going to do with the ball. So take some time, grab the ball, bounce it a few times. And if you bounce it 3 times, bounce it 3 times every time. It doesn't matter what the score is, and it doesn't matter what you feel that other people are thinking. And by the way, most of the time, what you're feeling is not necessarily what your partner is feeling or what the people are feeling. And like I said, it doesn't matter. This is about you. You have the ball is on your side. And when the ball is on your side, it needs to be all about you. So my next tip needs to be about having a conversation with yourself when you're getting ready to serve. So after you do your routine, another one of those things that you need to include in your routine is to try to decide where it is that you're going to aim that ball and to see that target in your mind. So there's a lot that needs to be happening at this moment that has to do with you. So by thinking about the plan that you have, you're all of a sudden going to get in the zone. To me, getting in the zone is me respecting that at that moment, it's all about me. It's all about what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing, not the external world. So that leads me to my next tip. You want to make things easy for you. You want to give yourself the most amount of court when you're aiming. And where do you find the most amount of court? In the middle of that service box. So your target for your second serve should always try to be the middle of that box. Picture your opponent. Your opponent is most of the time going to be right in the middle of that service box. So aim it towards your opponent. And once you start developing a lot of slides, you're going to see that ball curving to the right and then coming right back towards the left if you're a right-hander. So my next tip is while you're working on your second serve and while you're working on trying to create a lot more trust on the second serve, have 2 second serves. Don't work on that first serve yet, but have 2 second serves and make them both have the same speed. Do not differentiate between the 2 of them. You're basically giving yourself 2 chances to repeat that second serve. And if you miss it, it doesn't matter. Don't judge what you did. Your instinct is going to tell you, ooh, I felt like my shoulder kind of stopped at the end, or I felt like my hand kind of stopped at the end, or I felt like my eyes went over there. At that moment, you really need to be a sponge of what's happening inside of your head, inside of your heart. What is it? What was the first impression? What was the first thing that came to your head after you hit that ball? What did it feel like? Did it feel like a straight line? Or did it feel like a nice circle, a nice hug? By the way, that's what you need to feel. That as you're serving, you're giving that ball a nice big hug. And my last suggestion is practice makes better. So try to commit to coming to practice your serve at least once a week. Bring a basket and do a couple of baskets and take your time in between shots. Practicing is not about quantity, it's about quality. Yes, you should do as many serves as you can, but you should try to practice all these tips that I gave you with every single ball. Grab one ball, get in your mind, have that conversation, go slow, think about the fact that we're gonna make friends with speed and with spin. Picture that middle of the service box in your head. Tell yourself that we're going to speed up at the very end. Tell yourself that your hand is the one that's going to do the most of the work when it comes to speed. And then let go. Allow things to happen. Be okay with mistakes. Mistakes is what tell you what needs to be fixed. And making mistakes is what makes this game challenging and fun. So make a commitment with yourself, practice that serve, and put it all out on the line.